this is a high intensity and high impact workout to test your stamina. But as always, you are gonna get a very nice warm up and stretch, and we're starting with a nice side lunge stretch. Start with your feet at least double hip width apart or more, feet are parallel or pointing outwards, and then simply shift your weight from one side to the other. You can do this putting both of your hands on the top of your thighs, or you can bring them down to the floor. Sometimes I do like having both hands on the floor and just shifting my weight left and right. Make sure though that your spine is long and relaxed. We don't want to cramp or round our spine yet. You can keep your abs more or less relaxed this time. All I want you is to feel a slight stretch, tingling, pulling in the inside of your thigh, the adductors. And it's great. It's warming up our legs already a little bit, I hope. And we continue with greasing our hip joints, hip hurdle steps, and we're just alternating by lifting the leg, the knee, to the front, opening up to the side, stepping backwards, that's either sideways or slightly diagonally back from you, and then stepping right into the front of you again. It's like stepping over an imaginary obstacle that could be a hurdle, that could be something, a stone, a big stone block like I'm working out here, and make the movement as big as possible, but fairly easy. Try to be soft here, not to cramp in the hip joint. I hope you all know what I mean. You know this feeling of being too tight in the hip joint, you want to avoid that. Just stay soft and long and try to keep these legs long and fluffy for now. Great. Alright, warming up those glutes, hamstrings and quadriceps for the jumping later. Forward lunges. Start with the feet hip width apart and then step forward into a low lunge. Low lunge is when your knees have a 90-degree angle to your lower leg and your thighs. And I would like you to bring the arms into the movement, not for the sake of the arms, more for the sake of the spine, because the more you involve the shoulder girdle, the more your spine can rotate, and that just feels really great and healthy, and also juices up our spine, which we also need when we're going to start jumping later to create a little bit of cushioning in between our discs. And this is great to prevent injury, of course. Still a few more to go. Step wide and low. And here we go, we're getting to the core of this exercise. We're going into these high knees. You've got 2 rounds of it. Make sure you rock them. So bring those knees up, picking them up. This is a great runner's exercise. Not just focus on that knee lifting, but also on the ground leg. I would like you to rebound as quick as possible from those ground legs so they are not lazy. They are really strong. So you're pushing your heel of that ground leg into the floor, creating this kind of rebound. And you can move. You can move forward, you can move backwards. I love the sideways moving. So you can go right and then left, and this makes passing the time so much easier. Now these arms are really, really important. Now this time the arms are making it easier for you to run because they create momentum for you. And this is it. This is great. Wonderful. Keep 10 seconds of break. Don't move yet. Breathe. And just watch, we're going to do pogo jumps, which is the legs are straight and the ankles are moving. Here we go, let's go for it. Pogo jumps, lifting those toes off the ground and trying to get this rebound. You can either have this locomotion, movement with your arms, or they can swing forward and backward. It's forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. I like that too, and this also creates a lot of movement and range of motion in your shoulder joint if you need that or if you want that. Keep going. I know this is hard, but we need this rebound capability for the jumps that are going to come later in this cardio series. So the further we progress, the more intense the workouts are going to get. So I need you to rock this one to get ready for what's coming. Fantastic. Have 10 seconds of break. Don't move yet. We're gonna have a third cardio one, and this is the butt kicks. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Those butt kicks are less hard than they look like, because you're not rebounding that much. You're basically floating over the floor, just lifting your heels up to your hip. The faster you go, the easier this is actually going to get. This is a great exercise for knee mobility, for your hamstrings. This is creating a lot of strength and flexibility in your ankle and calves. I just love this exercise, and it's really forgotten. It's a forgotten exercise that I'm pulling out of the catalog of the great ones. Remember those arms. This time also it's creating momentum for you to make the whole exercise easier. And that's it. Great. Breathe. We have 55 seconds to breathe and to go into the side lunge stretches. You know them already from the beginning. If you need more of a breather, just start really shallow, really slow, and then go a bit further. I would like you to keep moving before we start and attack the second series, because I need you to recover. I need you to catch your breath. So breathe evenly. And even if you don't feel like moving, move a little bit. You can also walk. It's not that important what you're doing right now. You can do these side lunge stretches, but you can also move around, walk around. If you feel like it, you can of course drink a little bit, but not too much, because you know we're going to jump again and that might feel a bit wonky in your stomach later. I know the feeling. So get ready, you get another 10 seconds. We're going to start with the second run of the high knees. 10 seconds, just recover, get mentally ready to rebound. And here we go, in 3, 2, 1. Pick those knees up and run if your life depends on it. This is also a test for you, and if you give up before you even know it, this is not very fair to your body. Your body can do so much more than you might think you're able to. So pick those knees up, lift those arms, and give these arms a nice momentum. Really, this is an extreme movement for the arms, especially the swinging back. But this is also an extreme movement for your whole body. Remember, you can go sideways, left and right. Remember the leg of the ground leg is active and pushing into the ground. You're doing fantastic. Recover. 10 seconds, don't do anything yet. Pogo jump is up next. Legs are straight, we're all working from our ankles and from our feet. So here we go, rebouncing, and try to lift those toes up. The knees stay as straight as possible. Of course, not completely. You can see me bending these knees here when I'm reaching the ground. This is important to not hurt your knees. So of course you're gonna bend your knees slightly when you reach the ground, but then lift those toes back up again. And try to just, for the fun of it, try to go as high as possible. This is your last pogo jump of this exercise, so make sure you're gonna go for it. Jump as high as you can. You're doing great. Just 5 more seconds to go. Keep going. Wonderful. You're great. 10 seconds of rest before we're attacking our butt kicks. And I know you love them, so here we go for the butt kicks. Running from one leg to the other, lifting your heels all the way to your hips. You can slightly lean forward if this is helping. Whatever is helping is fine for you. And then bring those arms in, making this nice running motion on the spot. If you feel like it, of course, you can go sideways or front and back. The front and back, especially back, is really hard with these butt kicks. Try it, moving backwards. It's extremely hard. So I'd recommend you just go sideways, left and right. Keep going, keep the momentum up, keep the speed up. This is your last chance for it. In 3, and 2, and 1, and there we go. Plank position. Now we're working a little bit on the core. Plank position, 10 seconds of rest, keep breathing, and then slowly get your arms onto the ground, arms are underneath your shoulders, and push your feet back into plank position. Try not to arch or curl your lower back too much, so the whole body is just like in standing in one line, with the ears aligned to the shoulders, to the hips, and to the ankles. And then free your shoulders from your ears, so you really want to pull those shoulders away from the ears, having a really long neck, and now push the hands into the ground. The whole hand, the palms are pushing into the ground, especially the mount of your index finger. Fantastic. Pull the navel in, narrow your hip points again. Fantastic. And that's a well-deserved forward stretch for you. Forward fold, releasing the whole back line, hamstrings and spine. So come with your feet parallel and then fold forward, nose to the knees. Start with bending your knees first, rounding your back, pulling your tailbone down, and then stretch those legs, lift onto your toes and come back into forward fold, heels down on the floor, bend your knees, stretch them again, lift onto your toes, keep breathing, again, bend those knees, tailbone down, curl, nose to the knee, lifting your sitting bones, come onto your toes, and again. So this is a great movement for spine mobility. We're gonna need that later in the next video coming up. We're gonna be doing some rolling exercises for the fun of it. So again, some core strength here with the plank 2V. So get back into your plank position. We're starting from plank and then pushing the heels back into downward facing dog, sitting bones up, and then rolling forward into plank. So V pose, sit bones up, then roll forward, pull the navel in, and then bring the head forward. We always want to try to have the shoulder blades sliding onto the rib cage and back in every possible position. So when you're down in the V pose, your ears are free, and when you're shifting forward, you're ending with a very long neck and the shoulders away from the ears. Try that. And now play with how far forward this wave can crush forward. You might even end up with the shoulders slightly in front of the hands, and that's totally cool. Here we go again. Nice recovery for your wrists. Step forward or back as you like. Feet are parallel and come back into forward fold. Now this time, since we're perfectly warmed up, try to go a little bit more into this hamstring stretch and not so much into that spine stretch, because we've done a lot of curling by now. So in order to increase the stretch on your hamstrings, when you're in that forward fold stretch with the feet down, press the heels into the floor and then create length from your heels to your sit bones, as if you would try to elongate the back of your legs. So the heels are pressing down and your sitting bones are lifting. And this automatically creates more length forward for your spine, but we're not forcing it. Wonderful. So here's a nice variation, if you're feeling like it, with a diagonal plank 2V. So either you stay with the variation we've done before, just pushing back into V pose and then waving forward into plank, or when pushing back into that V pose, you're lifting one leg, reaching diagonally to whatever you can reach on those legs, your knee or your shin bones or your ankles, whatever is reachable and in reach, and then rock, wave forward, rounding, pulling the navel in into that plank position. It's a little bit harder on one arm, but this gives great strength to our shoulders. If this is too hard for you, you can always go back to the first variation. Wonderful. Have a nice wide squat, releasing the spine in rotation. We've done a lot of rotation and running, and now we are stretching our rotator muscles a little bit. So bring the knees out, hips are knee height, so bring the hips down and back, then bring those hands onto your knees, bring one shoulder down, look over the other, come back, inhale, exhale, bring the other shoulder down, look up, and inhale, come back. Exhale in the rotation, wait until you've fully exhaled, and then come back forward. Exhale, try to slow your breath. You should have a pretty stable breath by now, and inhale when you come forward. Very nice. Try to go as low as possible. Fantastic. And with stretching everything out, we've worked the quadriceps a lot. So come onto your right leg first and then lift your left foot, quad stretch. So you can either grab, as I'm doing here, your foot or your ankle with both hands, or you're just having the same arm with the same foot, so your left hand grabbing your left foot. Now press your hips forward. You need to engage the glutes a little bit, so push your butt forward slightly, but still keep your knees parallel so the thighs are staying in one line. Now lift your chest, open the chest slightly, of course bring the shoulders down, open your gaze. You don't want to look down, you want to fix a point in front of you for balance. Great. And then slowly change. We're going to change on the other side. So stand on your left leg and then bring your right leg to your hips. There's always a little bit of a difference. I can see it here. My right leg needs some stretching. So whoever needs more stretching needs to be stretched more. And grab either with your right hand, your right ankle, or with both hands. I think both hands is a great chest opening. You just need to be careful not to pull the foot too much into the middle. You still want to have the foot somehow on the right side. Then again, press the hips forward, contract the glutes, but keep the knees parallel so that the thighs are still touching each other. Lower your shoulders, relax the neck, open your chest, lift the chest bone, and have a gaze looking towards the horizon. Very nice. Our calves, oh my god, yes, they need stretching. So we're stepping back into a high lunge position with the right leg back, and this right heel is touching the floor. So you want to reach into that heel. You might even want to lift up those toes. If you're barefoot, that's great, then just lift the toes, or try to lift those toes in your shoes so that you're creating even more length in the back. And play a little bit with the shifting forward here. So I have my hands on my thighs. Maybe you need to shift even more forward if you're very flexible and have the hands on your knees. Or you can also press against the wall and create a little bit more push into that back heel by pushing your hands into a wall if you have one. And then simply stay in that high lunge and bend the right knee. We have two layers of calf muscles, one is superficial and one is deep, and now we are stretching the deeper muscle. So it's the same position but with the knee bend, and if you don't feel anything in that position, don't worry. It's great to give a little bit of movement between these layers, between the superficial and the deep calf muscles here. So in case you don't feel anything, just play a little bit around with this bending knee position, come back up, get a little bit lower, bend the knee further, and come back up just to create a little bit of movement between these sheets of fascia. Excellent. Want to change position? You can either turn around or just change legs. This time we're going to put the left leg back, and we're starting with the superficial layer first. So that's the heel pushing into the ground, the back leg is straight, and if possible, try nicely to have a very nice alignment here, just for the sake of your back, between the upper body and the lower body. Just one step position, one line for the upper and the lower body, and then lean forward, still pressing into the heel. Remember to lift the toes, so either if you're barefoot, lift the toes completely, just pressing the heel into the ground, or lift your toes in your shoes if you have shoes on. And if you want to increase the stretch, press into a wall if you have a wall to push further into your heel. And this is also possible for that second stretch, for the deeper layers, where we're bending the knee. So the knee bending kind of cancels out the superficial layer which crosses the knee. So it's a very smart way to actually reach those lower layers. And Again, in case you don't feel anything, though I bet you do because we've been working those calves, just play around with this bend a little bit. Bend and stretch again, and bend and stretch again, just to grease and move these two layers against each other. And this will help us to gain more flexibility and range of motion in these ankles, which is super important when we're going to do all these jumps later in this series. Fantastic! Great! Well done! I hope you're all pumped up and ready to go for the next chapter, where I'm going to see you soon, and take care! Bye bye!